Welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So we got another Meatloaf episode here. So Meatloaf for dinner again tonight. A few different things. So I got a new camera mount to show with the hydraulic arm. I got some magnets for that. Picked up some stuff at the flea market over the weekend. We'll show some tools there. And then a viewer was asking about technique for rounding the ends of links. He's got a whole bunch of links to do. He wants a quick way to set up and do the ends of links, so we'll show that. And I don't know, there might be something else in there too. I can't think of it right now. I didn't write it down, so let's get into it. All right. So we get to. I get my Noga base back now. I did a little horse trading with Stefan in Hanover, Germany, and he sent me this Horgler hydraulic locking arm. Now I scrounged up a couple of magnets here. This is a big arm, so I had to go for the double barrel shotgun here, and I made a little crossover piece. So this is going to be my new camera mount because it's got a little more range of motion here. And I can get my regular Noga base back. Also, this Noga base has a 3/8 diameter hole here, and this has 5/16, so it's a little bit weird. Anyway, so I just put the camera on there, lock the camera on there, and now I can move this wherever I want, and I got a little more range of motion now with that. So that's my new camera mount, and with the super magnets on there, and I get my trusty Noga base back for regular indicating work. So I don't know what else. How much can you talk about something like that? Anyway, thanks, Stefan. He scrounged this up in Germany and mailed it to me, and we traded some tools. I had something he needed, and he had something I was interested in, so that worked out pretty good. Anyway, thanks a lot. Okay, so what we're gonna do this a little demonstration here, and this viewer, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong or handle wrong, Toygada. And I believe he's in Japan. I'm not positive, but he'll probably comment on this video and let us know. Anyway, what he wants to do is he's got a bunch of flat bars like this, and his are aluminum, and I think they're a little wider, but this is all I had in flat bar. What he has to do is put a full radius on the end of this, like that, okay? And you know, there's a couple ways you can do that. You know, you can put it in like this, and you can use a corner rounder and round that off. You can center punch and scribe and belt sand very carefully. But all of those methods, they work. But here's the problem, is if you don't do them well, they look crappy. Okay, so you got to be very, very careful to get the tangents right. You can't nick in on the sides. So, you know, to make a nice looking full radius, it really has to be, you have to be pretty careful about it. And if you get a lot of them to do, it takes you a long time. Okay, well, over the years, you know, obviously this has come up for more than one person. There's another way you can do it, and he's lucky because he has a hole through the center. So you can also do these on a rotary table and do that too. But if you don't have a rotary table or don't feel like dialing that all off, there's another way we can do this, and it's real simple, and it's relatively safe if you follow some guidelines, and so we're going to show it. And to just remove any doubt that it is possible, this is steel, okay? So we're going to do steel. So if you have aluminum or brass or something soft to do, then it's even easier, okay? So let's see, how do we want to start here? Well, what I want to do first is is I want to put a pivot hole through the center, since he has a pivot hole, and that's one of the keys, is you need to have a center hole for this. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and smack a hole through the center of that. And I've already, you know, when you're working on the vise here, if you use the absolute function of the DRO for this back jaw, you retain your Y offset, you know, for a very long time. And so I can just go back to the absolute, and then I know where I am. And then in this case, for the X, I don't really care. So I'm going to go, what is this? 3/4 wide. So we're going to go 375. Find the center of that. 375 right there. Okay. And then just so I know I got some meat on the end, I'm just going to kind of eyeball pick up the end there. Zero that. I'm going to come back a little more than 3/8. Let's go 400. Okay, so we're going to go 400. So that's going to be our pivot hole right there. And so, you know what? I'm just going to quit yapping, and I'm going to poke it in there. So let's get a hole in there. And this is a 3/16 diameter drill, and there's a reason for this size, and you'll see that in a sec. Okay. All right, so I think we're done with that. Okay, so get that out of there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of, I'm going to use the mini pallet system here with one of my mini pallet plates. We'll plop that in the vise like so. And this is already pre-tapped by me, you know, from a million years ago or whatever, is with full of 1032 holes. So what we're going to do is steeper this first. And I think I'm going to zoom in a little closer here in a minute. But what we're going to do is we're going to install a pivot here, and we're going to swing this around, and we're going to cut this while we're swinging it, okay? And like I said, if you follow some guidelines, this is relatively safe, okay? And start with something simple, you know, if you're going to try this, okay? So let's see, where do we want it? It's there. Do we care? I don't know. So one of these two right here, probably. And so what I want to do is, now if you didn't have this, you can just drill and tap a hole and 0, 0 right there, right? And you don't have to pick this up. But since I don't feel like just drilling another hole in my plate, yeah, let's go with this one here. I'm going to screw this in there, and then I'm going to indicate that and 0 up on that. And then that'll come out, and then we'll pin this down, and we're going to put some stops on here. Oops, excuse me, I get the hiccups there. And we'll put some stops on there, and we'll get an end mill in there, and we're going to round the end of that link. All right, so we'll do get a little pointer here. Do my little eyeball deal there, that I always do. That looks pretty good. I'll drop. Oops, did that drop out of the frame? No. Okay. Close. I should have challenged myself on that one. I get real close. I got real close on that one. What was that? Something important, I'm sure. countersink. I gotta look for that. Hold on. Okay, I found it. So this is good. Let's get that out of there. And then we're gonna get this out of there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace that with a little stud that's gonna go down through this, and this is gonna secure us to our plate there. You know what? That needs a countersink itself there. This plate's been faced off a bunch of times. It's been faced off a bunch of times, so now those edges need to be rechamfered. Okay, so I'm going to thread that in there. And these holes are not tapped all the way through, so I want to tighten that up. And so there's a cool way to tighten that up, and what we're going to do is you use a coupling nut like that, okay? Then we thread the coupling nut down there like so. Then you thread another screw on top of it, okay? And then what we do is now you drive that stud in with that, okay? And that's pretty tight now. Now here's the magic, right? That just comes apart. So you don't have to fart around and double nut that and screw around with 2 wrenches and do all that crap. So this bottoms against that, and you drive it in with that. But the beauty is that it comes undone like super easy. So that's a cool little trick to put in your little bag there. Okay, so now we're gonna pin this down. But what I want is I want to raise this up just a whisker, and I made this off camera. And this is just a little piece of Garolite here. It happens to be G10. What works really good here as a washer is like Formica or plastic laminate, like you'd cover a tabletop with or whatever. And a lot of times you can get the samples, the free color samples at the hardware store, and they'll give them away. And it's nice material because the coefficient of friction between static and dynamic is almost identical, so it runs smoothly and it doesn't have a stiction. It doesn't want to stick and break away because the difference in the coefficient of friction is there's a differential between the static and the dynamic levels. Anyway, it's a telescope guide trick is what it is. They use it because it's cheap, and we'll put a washer on top there. Now I'm going to put a lock nut on top just because, you know what, I'm going to move out of the way a little bit so I can get my nut driver in there. So I can adjust the tension of this a little bit, so I can get it the way I want. So there, I got a little bit of friction on it, and this doesn't want to screw or unscrew, right? It doesn't want to tighten up or loosen up, right? All right. Bink, bink. That looks pretty tasty. All right, then what I want is I'm going to put some stops on it, okay? And these are just what I call bozo stops here. And we're going to put one over here for this side, and we're going to put one over here for this side. Let's see, can you see all that? Yeah, you can see all that, good. All right, I got to get this on this side over here. Let's see it. Washers going, and then we'll adjust the positions of these stops, and I'll show you how to do that. And this is just another cool use of this little mini pallet system. So that's me tooting my own horn there, guys, in case you didn't pick up on that. I just find more and more uses for this thing the more I use it. So let's see, hopefully that'll, I'm going to put a shorter screw in there. Yeah, put a shorter screw because I don't think these are tapped that deep. I just find more and more uses for these the more I use them. Except for I shouldn't. Oh, you know what? I'll put the longer one in. That'll work. So the slot on this one's not quite long enough, so we'll put one of the longer ones in. Now I can get at it. So these are basically our 180 stops here. And I'm just going to eyeball adjust them, but I'll show you how to make a precision adjustment with them too. Let's put a longer one on this side too. Just for ha-has. Oops, there we go, right there, that row. Alright, so we swing around this way. Like I said, I'm just going to do a kind of an eyeball lineup. So that's our stop there, and that's our stop there, okay? Alright. So if you want to do this real precisely, what you can do is measure off of this surface to here and measure off of this surface to here, or indicate that so it's straight, and then you know you're exactly 180, and then you can set the stop against the piece that way. For what we're doing, I'm just trying to get the principle across to you guys so that you can experiment with this yourself and try it out, because it's pretty cool. And if you do a lot of this, or you end up doing a lot of it, then it's pretty handy. Okay, so we're ready to start milling. We're going to use so this is one of the things, the safety things here, is use as small an end mill as you can use with as many flutes as you have. That way it won't grab. It won't tend to snag and take it away from you, okay? So lots of flutes, small diameter, little cuts. Those are the kind of the safety things until you get comfortable and you figure out what your particular setup can kind of handle. Okay. So there's center. We're going to move off the the radius, which was 3/8, okay? And see, am I going to center that way? Yeah. Right, 3/8, and then plus half the cutter diameter. Okay, so it's 3/8 plus, and that's 1/4 inch diameter, 125. So that's like a 1/2 inch. And I'm actually going to go bigger because I'm going to take lighter cuts at it. So I'm about, I don't know, 5. Let's start at 550. Let's try that. Okay, and we're obviously going to cut there, okay? So I'm going to start on the side here, and you can climb cut, but it's not recommended. So I would conventional mill as much as possible. So, all right, let's start there. And I'm up against my stop, and then I'm going to come around, and it's just going to mill it, okay? So let's go for it. It's 1200 RPM. I'm just hand holding this. It's no big deal. I'll go up against my stop. Then I'll come back here and I'm just going to drop down a little more. Okay. Drop down a little more. I'm going to also get a little lube action in there. Just going to make my life easier. Go for it. Okay. look from your side. It looks pretty good. Put a little more loop. So now I'm gonna move in on the radius a little bit. Let's go to 530. That's a full height cut there now too. It actually feels even smoother, to tell you the truth, than those first cuts. And even on the backstroke, when it's doing a little spring cut, it feels fine. Let's clear the crud out of the way there. Let's go down to 520. I'm going to save just a few thousandths for a finish pass there. So we're at 504 right now, according to the DRO. Okay, let me clear the decks there for a finish pass. A little bit of lube. And then we go right into it. Okay, now, yep, it's just touching the side there. I'm going to go real smooth and steady. Okay, and then I'm going to pop up and let you guys have a look. Okay, that's pretty good, all right? That's as good as it gets. And you saw how quick it was to set that up. And the width of the link doesn't really matter. You know, obviously there's some height limitation related to your tool, okay? And it's a machined full radius, okay? With no rotary table, no nothing. And like I said, you can play around with the stops. You know, my recommendation is to leave it at 1 or 2 degrees off of a full radius, which doesn't detract from the look of it, but it keeps from getting a little bite mark in the side if if your hole is not exactly on center, or your piece is a little different width than you think it is, or than standard or whatever. So anyway, that's there you go. That's a way to round the ends of links really nicely with like no investment in tooling. Okay, so here's the flea market finds for the weekend here. There's a lot of little stuff, but it's kind of cool. We'll go through these, and we'll talk about each one just briefly. One of the things, some guy had a whole stack of T-shirts there. And they were Milwaukee, red Milwaukee T-shirts, nice T-shirts, $5 a piece. So I bought one. So you'll probably see those showing up in the the videos. I like T-shirts. And then they had a whole bunch of, these were school textbooks here, advanced woodworking and furniture making. Anyway, I flipped through it, and so all you metalworking guys, the woodworkers have something to teach us too. So pay attention to what woodworkers are doing, because they do some cool stuff too. Anyway, $1 for this book. So I thought it was pretty good. Or put it this way, low bar to get over. All right, so let's start with the first thing I bought on Sunday. Was this is a tapered drift here, and it's a little bit beat up, not too bad, but it's a good brand. It's an Armstrong, and it's not too mushroomed, and it's reasonably straight. Anyway, tapered things, if you've ever had to turn anything like that, it's kind of a pain in the neck. So I usually just pick them up when I see them. So let's see. I think that came. That was $2 $2 for that. $2 for that. And I think that same guy had, let's see. Oh, I think it was this guy right here. So this is kind of interesting here. It's 3 flatted to go in a drill, but what it is, it's just a long extension, okay? And it holds a 1/4 inch diameter thing at the end, whatever you want to put in there. But what I use these for is I'll stick a countersink in there, and now you've got a countersink on a stick, and you can, let's grab one real quick. Now the set screws, I got to back the set screw up, but now you got this long extension on a countersink. You can reach along the side of something or down inside or whatever, and do a little chamfering or countersinking. Anyway, that's kind of a handy thing, and I've got a couple of these, but $2 for that also. And then these are kind of cute. So Adam Booth over at A-Bomb 79, he's showing off his big 3-inch Morse taper drill bit over there. Well, these got to be some of the smallest little Morse taper drill bits I've ever seen. They're 532, and it's a #1 Morse taper. And okay, so it's hard enough to make a drill, but now you've taken all that material away, right? And because these are, I believe they're 1 piece, maybe not. Oh, you know what? Look at that, son of a gun. Those look like they're soldered in there, or so for our English guys, soldered in there, so or brazed. High temperature silver soldering is actually brazing, so but we'll call it soldering just to keep the anyway, one guy corrects me on my spelling, so I'm not going to mention any names. But anyway, those look like they're brazed in there, which is kind of cool. So I take that back. That's a little easier to make. But anyway, Adam, so if you need a 532 Morse taper drill bit, let me know. I got three of them. I'll send you one. So anyway, those were $1 a piece for those. Once again, this is pretty. You clean out your change bucket near the washing machine, and then you go shopping at the flea market. So now this one here, let's see, I got that with these 2 sets of pliers here. Yeah, I think that's right. Those 2 sets of pliers. It's a long drive pin punch. Now it's got a little bend in it, which is kind of a bummer, but that's easy enough to straighten out. And I can't quite read the brand. I might be able to read it when I clean it up a little bit. It says something New York, and it's a number 76, 5/16 diameter. Anyway, that's nice. They're nice and long, and you can whack on them. This one's seen a bit of use, but that was $1. And I didn't notice this lump on it when I bought it. I probably wouldn't have bought it for that if I saw that, but it's okay. I can recondition that a little bit, and then it's an animal punch. I don't have to use my nice ones for some gnarly job. So, all right. So then let's see. Oh, you know what? Actually, this came from that same guy too, because it's got that same grody-ness of rolling around in a toolbox for 1,000 years, kind of crud on it. And whenever I see these, I always buy them. This is an adjustable spanner here, and for like a lock ring or some certain kinds of castellated nuts. Anyway, they're kind of different size ranges. This one is 3/4 to 2 inch, it looks like. Yeah, I should brush this crap off before I start yapping about it. Yeah, 3/4 to 2 inch, and it's a Williams, and it's a nice one. This isn't all chowdered up. So what you see is these get all chewed up here because guys hook them and then they beat on this with a hammer. So if this is all mushroomed and that's chowdered up, just leave it. Anyway, that was $1 for that. So whenever I see those, I buy them because they're kind of expensive to buy. All right, so This is just a, you know, kind of a plain Jane flat blade screwdriver. It is a snap-on, which is kind of nice. And so I can take it to my local snap-on guy and he'll give me a new blade for this and put it in the handle. Or if the handle's cracked and you got a blade, although the blades typically are not identified. Anyway, you can, you know, it's a lifetime tool, so you can get it traded out, and it's got a nice patina on it, as you can see there, of paint or something. Anyway, the tip's pretty worn, so I'll just get a new blade when I see the snap-on guy and get that, and I'll have a brand new screwdriver. $2 for that. All right, so what else we got here? So these are kind of cool. And once again, I always buy, whenever I see these, I always get them. This is a snap ring pliers here, okay? And these are made by Walda's, which is a company that makes snap rings. And these are very, very, very small ones. And if you've ever tried to take one off without the right tool, you'll know how much of a, you know, it's a pain in the neck. Now this one's got a, actually this one needs to be squoze in a little bit. It's got a travel limiter on it too, so when you put it in the snap ring and you spread it apart, you don't yield the snap ring. And it looks like this one got torqued a little bit, so, but it's adjustable. You just squeeze it in and then you don't wreck the snap ring. Anyway, this one's, they feel pretty good, and once again, if you got to buy them, they're kind of expensive. So those. That was kind of a package with some pliers. Oh yeah, this, now I remember. Okay, so this little pile, let's see that. Was that part? No, that wasn't part of it, that was another guy. So this little pile here, I think that was the same guy. Oh no, you know what? Those drills were with it. Okay, so this was this little pile I got from one guy, okay? And all this was $18. That's right. That's what it was. I remember because I counted each piece. I forgot about that. So, you know, they were around $2 a piece for all the stuff. Okay, now I forgot. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter for purposes of discussing them. And anyway, here's another one by the same company. And these are bent 45 degrees, so you can reach underneath something and get snap rings out. And like I said, I prefer the fixed ones myself. I have a set that have adjustable or removable tips, and they don't work as good as the what I call the fixed type, which is like this. Now this one doesn't have a travel limiter on it, so you could stretch the heck out of a snap ring with that. And then here's some, these are kind of cool. These are kind of like, I call these duck bills, but these are Utica, and they're kind of flat nose, they are serrated on the inside. But what appealed to me about these was the tips were shaped kind of in a nice way there. And, oh wow, well, it looks like somebody, now I didn't even notice that before, but it looks like somebody clipped the handles off of those. I thought they were kind of short. Huh, okay, all right, well I didn't notice that. Somebody did a good job cutting those off. So anyway, those are nice little kind of duckbill pliers there. And once again, some more Uticas. And these are these wire loop bending ones. So you can take I don't have any wire here, but you can grab a wire and you can roll it up and form an eye in the end, because these are round and tapered, and depending on where you grab the wire in there. I'm looking for a piece of wire close by here. I don't see anything. Depending on where you grab the wire and roll it up, you can form an eye with an ID about like that or an ID like that. Now these got some little serrated little teeth on the ends, and when I felt them, when I picked them up, they're brand new. I don't think these have ever been used. They've just been laying around in a box, and they got some crud on them. I'll clean them up with WD and get them nice. Then this is a little pin vise. I don't remember where that came in. I don't remember where this came in. Anyway, it was only a couple bucks or whatever. And hey, bub, what are you doing? Come here. What are you doing, bub? Come here. Huh? What are you doing? Oh, are you a good boy? Huh? Is he a good boy? Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's a Dixon, and I thought it was a Starrett. What are you doing? Huh? I thought it was a Starrett at first because it had this cylindrical part here, which allows you to grab this in a chuck or something bigger here and hold a very, very, very tiny little wire or drill or pointer or whatever you want. And it's hollow, so you can pass something through that. And anyway, it's in pretty good shape. The knurls, you know, nobody used their pliers on it to tighten it up or something, and so that was nice. I have some of those, but you know, for $1, you're gonna go for it, right? And this was part of that same package. These are Starretts. These are ID calipers, and this is kind of cool. Somebody modified them just slightly. They put a little notch in there, and can't think of what for. Maybe they were measuring small ODs or something, which you can do with these. And also, you know, you can measure small ODs. And then these have it has the little fine adjust here so that you can adjust them a very small amount. Yeah, I can feel it moving there. It's pretty sensitive, actually. Anyway, these will get a little WD-40 bath or whatever, and some corrosion X just to keep them nice. And those will go in the toolbox there. Okay. Oh, one more set of ring pliers here, and these are made in West Germany. Let me get my magnifier there. If I can read that. West States Trading in West Germany. You know, they look pretty good. These have been used a little more, but they're not. They still close up nice, and you know, they're not twisted or bent. So anyway, a couple bucks for those. Don't remember now. And this was $1. I want to make one of those. Jody over at weldingtipsandtricks.com. He made a. What's going on? Hey, what are you doing, huh? What's up? Oh, you want to smell that? Oh, smell that? Huh? He made a kind of a slide hammer attachment. Welds a thing on the backside here, and then connects it to a slide hammer. And now you can grab onto things and give them a yank. And I thought it was a good idea. So I got a kind of a beater pair here for $1. And so I'll make a set of those up at some point. Now, if you do that, one thing is take the spring out, because if you do anything on that and you lose the temper on that spring, then the vice grips become extremely annoying because they're real floppy and they don't behave normally. So if you're going to do any welding on these, pull that spring out of there and do yourself a. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's going on? What's going on? Anyway, anyway, $1 for those. And I think that's it. That's it for the flea market stuff. So let's move on to the next deal. So that's all I got for today. Hope you liked it. Meatloaf episode. Went ahead and put my new shirt on. I had to try it on. It seems pretty nice right now. And can't remember what's on the back. Hey, Bub. Hey, Bub. Anyway, get out in the shop and make something. Have a good time, because I sure am. Talk to you guys later.